welcome to Movie Review Mom. And if you've never visited my channel before, I'm so glad you're here. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to watch a specific film. Click on this little bell down below where it's got the subscribe button, and subscribe, of course. But when you click on the bell, it'll notify you every time I upload a new movie review or trailer reaction. So today I'm not reviewing a feature film that's playing at the movie theaters, but a very special documentary called Echoes of the Invisible. It doesn't have an actual movie rating because it's a documentary, but I think I'd probably give it PG only because there's one view of the naked backside of a man who's walking away and he's naked. But other than that, I'll give you tips for parents in just a few minutes. The documentary is an hour and 46 minutes, and it's actually the SXSW winner, and it's being released June 22nd, 2021, courtesy of Utopia. This feature documentary turns its lens onto explorers who are pushing the human body and technology beyond limits in the most extreme environments on Earth. It follows Al Arnold, a blind man running through the deadly deserts of Death Valley, Rachel Sussman, a photographer capturing photographs of the oldest living organisms in the world, Paul Salopek, a journalist walking across the world in the footsteps of the earliest human migrations, and scientists building machines to look back nearly to the beginning of time. It's all very fascinating. These individuals are linked by their search for the fabric of our interconnectedness before it is lost in the noise of our distracted and divided world. The movie is produced by Jan, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly or not, Shizlikiewicz, maybe, and Scott Cronin, with cinematography, beautiful cinematography by Steve Elkins. Echoes of the Invisible features original music from Ben Asbeck of the Sugar Plastic and Morgan Henderson of Fleet Foxes, along with music contributed by Juliana Barwick, Colin Stetson of Arcade Fire, Tom Waits, The National, Jim O'Rourke of Sonic Youth, and many others. Needless to say, this documentary was a passion project that took a lot of time and effort from many, many people. So let me point out just a few more things that I really liked about this movie. First of all, the introductory scene of a man who's creating beautiful art out of tiny colored pieces of sand was so perfect as a symbol of how tiny things like a grain of sand can create something beautiful over time. During the course of the film, more images of sand art were used to demonstrate more messages about life. And it's very symbolic and beautiful. You get to travel all over the world and even into outer space during the course of the film. Like I mentioned, the cinematography is stunning. Some of the landscapes look like they're from another planet. It's just jaw-dropping, really. There's a section in the film where no words are spoken at all. Instead, subtitles, music, and some sounds take you on a spiritual journey of thought that's really impressive and powerful. The original score, as I mentioned, by Ben Asbeck, is lovely and contemplative and a perfect background as you're looking at these beautiful images and really contemplating the words that are spoken during the movie. And speaking of the words that are spoken, let me just share a few testimonials about this documentary. So the first one is from Steve Copian from Unseen Films. He said, "Echoes has placed me somewhere beyond words. One of the most profound things I've seen. See this film, for in a time of uncertainty and fear, it puts it all into perspective." And I really liked that. People were saying just wonderful things about this documentary documentary. Another is Spoken by Vague Visages, and it says, Echoes gives perspective to the relative smallness and insignificance of existence in the grand scheme of time and space, while still giving depth of purpose to life. Exhilarating. And then I'll share one last one. Could not be more timely, an unusually transfixing movie, a path forward during uncertain times. Perhaps the world is being asked to consider themes of echoes of the invisible even more strongly during these quarantine days. And it's interesting because silence is such a strong theme in the film. And during the quarantine, I think all of us came to a newer understanding of silence, of being still and accepting what is and reflecting on the value and the meaning of life. The movie will definitely put you in a mood to really contemplate your life and your place in the world. Now, there really wasn't anything I didn't like about this movie. I can think of maybe one thing, and that is it wasn't entirely clear how the main people who are featured in the documentary are related. For example, in one scene, Rachel talks about her mother and growing up, and then on the screen, you see a picture of Linda. And so I wasn't sure if Linda was her mother. That wasn't made clear. Maybe I blinked too fast and missed it. I don't know. Not that that's a big deal. I was just curious how these people got together as they explored their area of expertise. So let me give you some tips for parents. First of all, because it's a documentary, some kids will be very bored unless they're really into history and science and a little bit older. Young kids will fall asleep probably or just leave the room. Sadly, as I mentioned, you see the naked backside of a man, and ultimately there's no profanity or really any other objectionable content. So the movie is family friendly. Some of the themes that are illustrated well in the movie are time, history, the mystery of our own interconnectedness, and the importance of understanding that interconnectedness, powerful Mother Nature, stillness, and the importance of listening to nature and to ourselves and our inner soul and heart and mind, walking, and the inner drive that compels us to do the things that we do. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines so that you can kind of get a flavor for the movie. But when I looked back at my notes, I didn't write any funny lines because really the documentary is a serious, profound look at life, the world, and the universe. But I did write down quite a few interesting lines, and I have them all written on my moviereviewmom.com website. So you can run over there and check them out, but I'll share a couple of them with you right now. Linda Lynch, who's the painter, said, "We live in a very busy world that doesn't foster silence," which is true. We forget to stop and be still. And then Paul Salopek, who's the reporter, the journalist, he says, "There are hidden links between the major stories of our day that are not covered because we simply don't slow down enough to cover them." And then another line that Paul Salopek says is, "I'm not just talking about walking across the world, I'm listening across it." And he shares tons of very powerful, profound insights. All right, so you want to know what my movie review mom score is? I'm giving it an A. It's just beautifully done and really gives you pause to reflect. And we all need time to do that. Now, before I go, let me give you a couple of recommendations of other things you might want to look into for sort of similar content. There is a TV series on Netflix called Connected. And I kind of thought this documentary was going to be a little bit more like that. The one on Netflix is more playful, but it is excellent. And it shows how small, insignificant things that happen around the world are absolutely connected. And it shows you those connections. And so definitely check that series out. It's really, really well done. And then another was a book that I found just called Connected, and the surprising power of our social networks and how they shape our lives. So if you're interested in reading more about that idea of connectedness, I recommend that. All right, that's it for my review. Thank you for being connected to me here on my Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. Be sure and check out my Patreon page and check out some of the prizes and the gifts that I have to offer. I just want to thank you for supporting my channel and helping it to grow. I really appreciate that. All right, that's it for today. I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.